Hi everyone. I'm back. It took a little bit of transition. As you can see, there's a different background. I've moved from my office to my apartment, and so I have a little bit of a different setting. So I hope that you can see me and hear me as well as you could before. In the previous video, I think I was finishing up with the rubric for the developmental matrix draft. Again, it's just a quick 5 points. I just want to be able to provide you with some feedback so that you are not wasting a lot of time on this assignment if you're not on the right track. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about before we actually finish is to go back to the actual and this is just a helpful tip, I think, is to go back to the template or the example that I gave. This is, I think, in addition to the research paper, one of the most time-consuming assignments for this course during this semester. And so over the past few semesters, I've come up with a helpful tip that many students have really appreciated. And so what I would recommend to you is that over the next several weeks, and I'm going to pull the schedule back up, over the next several weeks, starting with Module 5, when we actually start with physical development and gross motor skills, and then in Module 6, fine motor skills. Weeks 7 and 8, we talk about cognitive development. The topic for week 9 is adaptive development. Module 10 is communication development, and then finally in Module 11, social, emotional, and behavioral development. You will notice that the developmental matrix is due at the end of that module where we cover the last developmental domain. So what I try to do is to pass on a little helpful tip that as we progress week through or module through module, that you keep up with your matrix throughout each week. This, again, is a time-consuming assignment and would be very difficult to complete in 1 week's time, given that you do need to read the information for the chapter, look up 2 additional sources that will provide you with information to add to the cells in this assignment. It might be for any one particular domain. It might be more than 2 articles, especially if you're looking at the 2 variations and the typically developing column. So it's going to be pretty time consuming, and trying to get that done within 1 week's time would be very difficult, very challenging. So I just make the recommendation, and whether you take it or not is certainly up to you, your time management skills, the amount of time that you have to work on these assignments, but is to keep up with your matrix and add to it each time we cover a new domain. So if you are filling in the motor domain for a typically developing child and the first variation for your draft, when I provide feedback, it's likely that the feedback is going to require minimal changes. And so you have that done. You could simply come back and add one more cell and be finished with motor. Then the next week when we cover the next domain, you then keep up that week, adding the information for the typically developing column, both variations, and then your assignment is building throughout the semester so that that last week before the assignment is due, you're simply filling out that last domain and you're ready to submit your paper. So that's just a recommendation that I've made based on feedback that has been given in prior courses, and it seems to have been helpful for very many people. So that's just something I like to pass on. Also, feel free, if you have any questions, certainly to reach out to me via email to ask any questions if I haven't answered them adequately enough in this video lecturette. And yes, so if there's any way that I can support you in this, please let me know. The last thing that I want to say, I just needed a few more minutes, was to remind each of you, I think I said last week in the video lecturette that this week I will be undergoing a medical procedure. So tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, I'm having some oral surgery done, and I may be out of pocket for a few days. I will try to get back to answering emails just as soon as possible, but just know that it may be a couple of days. I know that some of you still need to talk with me via email about your research paper topic, and I promise you that just as soon as I'm able, I will jump back online to answer those questions. Please don't hesitate to send me emails. Just know that it may be a few days before I'm able to respond. So yes, I think that's all I have to cover this week. I hope you all have a very good week. I'm going to go in now and download these videos and add them to the weekly module like I did last week. So if some of you have already looked at the module, I will be adding those there. I hope you all have a great week. Thank you.